From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 9th, 2019. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel's security forces were close to finding those responsible for the murder of yeshiva student Corporal Dvir Sorek, who was stabbed to death in a terror attack late Wednesday night. His body found yesterday morning near the Jewish settlement of Migdal Oz in the West Ridge, also known as the West Bank. Sorek, by the way, was 18 years of age, not 19, as was reported. He was days away from his 19th birthday. Netanyahu said, according to a briefing I received a short while ago, we are on our way. It won't take very long regarding finding the terrorists. Palestinian media reported that Israeli troops had found and confiscated the vehicle used in the terror attack and had arrested the car's Palestinian owner. Massive searches by Israeli troops continue. The U.S. Justice Department sentenced a Lebanese businessman to 5 years in prison for financially supporting Iran-backed Lebanese terror group Hezbollah. 63-year-old Qasim Tajuddin was named a specially designated global terrorist back in May of 2009 by the U.S. Treasury. Over tens of millions of dollars he gave to the terror group. His sentencing includes an order to forfeit $50 million. Well, Jewish groups are outraged over a new ethnic studies curriculum under proposal by the California Department of Education, saying it is blatantly biased against Israel. JNS reports that AMCHA Director Tammy Rossman Benjamin said the curriculum makes no mention of anti-Semitism and praises the boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign against Israel. The American Jewish Committee Los Angeles Chief of Staff Dganit Abramov said, it mischaracterizes Jewish history and identity, neglects the history of anti-Semitism, and demonizes the State of Israel. Members of the California Legislative Jewish Caucus wrote a letter to the Department of Education saying we cannot support a curriculum that erases the American Jewish experience, fails to discuss anti-Semitism, reinforces negative stereotypes about Jews, singles out Israel for criticism, and would institutionalize the teaching of anti-Semitic stereotypes in our public schools. The curriculum is in a public comment period for the next week, where residents can voice concerns about it. CAMERA, the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting and Analysis, is hosting a conference next week in Boston to train students how to deal with rising anti-Semitism and anti-Israel activism at their schools. Students from over 80 college campuses will take part in lectures, discussions, and workshops. CAMERA's International Campus Director Aviva Rosenshine said we have students from virtually every kind of college, so the lesson here is that just about any institution can be infected with malicious anti-Israel propaganda and anti-Jewish discrimination. She said students need to prepare themselves for it. We are offering them a crash course. A synagogue in Lithuania that had closed earlier this week because of security fears has now reopened. The Vilnius synagogue opened its doors last night after reassurances from politicians to protect it, including from the country's president, Gitanas Nausėda, and Prime Minister Saulius Skvernelis. Jewish community chairwoman Faina Kukliansky told French news agency AFP that both the synagogue and the Jewish community headquarters had been reopened. She announced the closures after the Jewish community there had received threatening phone calls and letters. Well, a Holocaust survivor who lost her family in the atrocities celebrated the family she created upon her 104th birthday this week at Jerusalem's Western Wall. Shoshana Ovitz, a survivor of Auschwitz who lives in Haifa, had one birthday wish that all of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren come together to the Western Wall. Well, over 400 of those descendants made that wish come true this past Wednesday at the holy site. The Jewish world this weekend commemorates the destruction of both the first and second temples in Jerusalem, of which the Western Wall is the last remnant. Teisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, begins tomorrow, Saturday night, And for the first time ever, JBS viewers can participate in a live telecast of a Teisha B'Av Kumsitz with a special appearance by the Maccabees, and that's from the Hampton Synagogue, led by Rabbi Mark Schneier and Cantor Netanel Hirschtick. That's tomorrow night beginning at 9:15 Eastern. Looking now at our programming for tonight on JBS, Kabbalat Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue are coming up at 7, followed by services from Central Synagogue. After that, it's the documentary 1 out of 10, where you will hear from some of the 10% of Jewish children who survived the Holocaust. At 10, Howard Jacobson talks about his book, Shylock is My Name, The Merchant of Venice Retold, and then it's Musica with Gilad Segev. And coming up right after this newscast, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs asks, why be Jewish? And then a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 9th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.